These days, automobiles can be very expensive. Luckily, if you run a business that requires the use of a car, truck, or another type of vehicle, you can write off your vehicle expenses and offset some of those costs by saving on taxes. So I peeked through the tax code for you and was able to find 10 and a half auto deductions that you can use to lower your tax bills for years and years to come. And the best part is that you're paying for these expenses anyway, so you might as well write them off. So let's discuss who is qualified, how to quickly qualify, the 10 and a half deductions that can help you save money, and finally some advice on how to claim the deduction properly. Let's get started. Starting with who qualifies for a vehicle expense write-off. The answer, business owners, in particular, proprietors of companies that operate out of vehicles. Furthermore, you might be thinking, I don't use my car for work. That doesn't apply to me. Well, hold on a second. Since utilizing a vehicle for business purposes also involves going from job to job, going to clients and customers, and going from your place of business to conduct business purposes. Using your automobile for business purposes is my personal favorite. Almost all business owners use their vehicles to travel to the bank, pick up supplies, check their business mailbox, and so on and so forth. This is the loophole. It makes auto-related deductions accessible to almost everyone. Additionally, a variety of vehicles including trucks, SUVs, motorcycles, delivery vans, and pretty much anything else that doesn't fly or run on railroad tracks are eligible for the auto-related deduction. However, don't skip this following part since I don't want you to have run-ins with the IRS. What I want you to know is this: travel expenses, which include things like plane tickets, taxis, rental vehicles, tolls, parking, hotels, Airbnb, and other transportation costs are not included in the auto-related deductions I'm discussing in this video. Those are totally separate deductions. So if you're interested in write-offs for travel-related expenses, I'll put a link to the video in the description below. So after this video, watch it, okay? The moment you've all been waiting for. Here are the 10 and a half car costs you can deduct to reduce your tax obligation. Number 10, mileage, often known as the normal mileage deduction. With this deduction, you can write off expenses based on the distance you travel for work. You can deduct 58.5 cents each mile driven for this year. The standard mile deduction is an all-inclusive deduction that aims to condense all allowable vehicle expenses into a straightforward calculate deduction. If you choose to deduct your regular mileage, you won't be able to deduct the majority of the other items on this list. Again, it's designed to be comprehensive. Just be sure you keep solid records. I'll teach you how to do that at the conclusion of this video. Now let's discuss some additional automobile expenses that you can deduct. The actual expense approach, which is, in essence, the second way to deduct vehicle expenses, is where practically all of the other deductions on this list come from. Additionally, you are permitted to deduct the percentage of business use when deducting vehicle expenses using the actual method. I'm going to deduct all of my automobile expenses, I wouldn't suggest that. The fact that you utilize your car only for work raises serious suspicions, especially if you don't own any other vehicles that are registered to you. So let's assume you put 10,000 miles on your car each year. Some of those miles will be driven personally, such as when heading to Target or on a road vacation to Florida. Thus, you drove 10,000 miles. 3,000 of those miles, though, were for business purposes. Then using the actual expense technique, you can write off 30% of the vehicle expenses. Then what cost can you deduct by adopting the strategy? Again, this is not simply for gas, since those who drive electric or hybrid cars can deduct their charging expenses, a favorite activity of mine in my Tesla Model Y. Therefore, when paying for gas and charging expenses, the percentage of use that you spend for business might be written off. But bear in mind that this is for business purposes. Therefore, you should record all charges that are explicitly for business. Number 9, automobile fees. Yes, you can write off relevant expenses for your car. You might have a separate AAA membership or roadside assistance program, for instance. You can write off those costs. Number 8, insurance. As a law-abiding person, you have insurance on your car, which can be declared a total loss. And items can also be written off if your insurance occurred to include extras like towing, rental cars, and other add-ons. Number 7, lease payments. Lease payments are item number 7 and one of my personal favorites. Lease payments for vehicles used for business purposes may be deducted from income as a business cost. Although the IRS is kind, there is something I want you to be aware of. A term known as additional lease inclusion will be applied to your gross income if the fair market value of the car, SUV, or van exceeds a threshold, which for this example is $56,000 for this year, which essentially means that the deduction for your lease payments will be smaller. However, this changes if your car weighs more than 6,000 pounds. We'll discuss this more later in the video. Number 6, repairs. Repairs are item 6 on this list. If your car needs maintenance throughout the year, those expenses can be written off. Remember to include wipers, bulbs, oil changes, air filter replacements, and other maintenance items in this as well. So if you purchase a BMW, you can now deduct all those expensive costs. I'm only joking, okay? Let's be serious. Number 5, the 5th item is oil. We've already discussed gas, but you can also subtract any additional oil you put in your automobile. Coolants, brake fluids, and transmission fluids can all be deducted. Number 4 is tires. Yes, your tires can be deducted, all related fees as well. Number 3, if you're anything like me, you enjoy keeping your automobile looking tidy, and in order to do so, you must wash it. Washes are 3rd on our list. Washes are deducted since they are regarded as maintenance. This could also entail meticulous maintenance to keep your car looking amazing. And whether you're one of those folks who just swear by hand washing or going to the car wash, you can write off either of those. Number 2, registration fees. Your vehicle's registration fee is tax-deductible expense that is an exception because you can deduct it even if you already claim the regular mile deduction. Number 1, depreciation. If you choose not to claim the normal mileage deduction, you can write off your car's depreciation. The typical mileage deduction already accounts for depreciation, which explains why. However, there are several guidelines to follow while attempting to deduct depreciation. Only a specific amount of money can be depreciated on passenger cars, light trucks, and vans. And the following restrictions apply to cars put into service this year. $19,200 for the first year, then it becomes $11,200. You can deduct $18,000 in the second year if you do not take the bonus depreciation, $10,800 in the third year, and $6,460 each year after. And now we're down to lucky number half, which is section 179 and bonus depreciation. When you use section 179, bonus depreciation, or both, the IRS permits you to deduct a sizable amount of depreciation and in some circumstances 100% of the cost of the car in the first year. Consequently, for the first year of use, the cost of vehicles over 6,000 pounds, such as the Tesla Model X or the BMW X6, can be written off 100%. It's important to keep in mind that Section 179 is only applicable to your taxable income when deciding whether to accept bonus depreciation, Section 179, or both. To take depreciation with Section 179 or bonus depreciation, you must use your vehicle for business at least 50% of the time. If you use it less than 50% for any year, you will be required to repay the depreciation you took in the first year of business. However, bonus depreciation can be used to generate a net loss, making it a very popular option for those looking to take depreciation by itself or even in the conjunction with section number 179. So you want to write off your car but aren't sure if you should use the actual expense approach or the normal mile deduction. The answer will depend on the vehicle and its intended purpose. Here are some things to think about if you plan on driving a lot for work and the automobile isn't too expensive. When taking into account Uber, Lyft, and food delivery drivers, the standard deduction may result in greater tax savings. Now consider the situation when you have the modest mileage but high cost for things like gas, charging, maintenance, insurance, etc. With the actual expense technique, the deduction increases as your expenses rises. However, in either case, you should calculate both approaches to see which will provide you with the greatest tax benefit. Let's now talk about something very crucial. It's imperative to keep proper records if you want to deduct your automobile expenses, which is something you cannot look over. The best source of action is to maintain a meticulous log of all miles traveled and expenditures. To make things simpler, use a single credit card or debit card for all your business-related expenses. The IRS is very strict about writing off your vehicle. Additionally, most transportation providers and meal delivery services already have applications that allow you to keep track of your mileage. Therefore, be careful to follow them. However, if you're like the rest of us and don't already have someone tracking your miles for you, you can utilize an app. TripLog is an app that I like to use. TripLog assists you in tracking both your business-related expenses as well as your mileage. Well guys, there you have it. 10.5 ways to write off your automobile. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content. See you in the next one.